the best. You can be the King Kong banging on your chest.
You could beat the world, you could beat the war. You could talk to God, go.
I'm standing now with Oliver Barnett, who is very heavily involved in sales and marketing in terms of Putumayo, which is the sort of international sphere for traditional and cultural sounds coming from around the world. And I know you're quite heavily involved also in the African scene at the moment. So, first of all, the panel discussion today that you're involved with, what did you take from that?
Well, I think some of the key points to come out of the discussion today were that to create your brand locally before you try and look to sell it overseas. I think that's a key thing to consider. If you have a product and you try and let it fly too early, that can hinder your chances of reaching a global audience.
Okay.
But also one of the key factors in terms of my discussion is that the term world music, whether it's run its course or not, whether it's a helpful term for people to get their music out there, not to feel boxed. It's a very useful term, especially in America. It's got a very established market for world music. So if the opportunity to dip into that, it's one to be taken up, because you can at least branch out from there. We've had many artists who've managed to get onto that initial verse, and then they've kind of branched out into their thing from there, and that's been helpful.
Absolutely. And you're quite heavily involved in the sales and marketing, so your field research in terms of what the international sphere is looking to Africa for, African sounds. As a young artist, what should we be looking to develop in terms of our local sound?
Well, the Putumayo target audience are for people overseas who are looking for something that's got an authentic flavour. Okay. So, for example, let's say someone in San Francisco travels to South Africa and they hear that one, whether it's a township Kanga sound or it's a Kwaito sound,
the drums
or the drums. It's trying to represent a little bit of that flavour, but obviously with its own personal spin. I think more and more as to create a modern sound, it's important for it to be coming from here, as to reflect your culture, but also to reflect sort of modernity.
So if I'm perhaps sitting in one of the townships or one of the Kaisers around South Africa, and I'm maybe not into the traditional types of music in that sort of scene, or maybe I am particularly into the traditional types of scenes, what would you say is the one tip of advice you'd give to youngsters to start their careers?
Again, it's being able to put your work in, so learn your instrument well, actually develop what it is you have to say. That's the key thing. Whether it appeals to our label or not, that's a culturally authentic experience. It's bound to appeal to someone if it's a quality and if it's a passion.
Yeah.
So in terms of put the practice in, represent what it is you're trying to say. Don't be too influenced by what's happening overseas.
Yep.
I mean, those kind of influences are great, but they can also hinder your personal message. So that's
the one word of advice. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Cool.
Yeah, you can be the greatest, you can be the best. You can be the King Kong banging on your chest.
You could beat the world, you could beat the war.